Welcome to the Spatial Computing Massive Open Online course. This module we will be studying spatial query languages. And in the first short video, the goal would be simply to understand the notion of query and the notion of query languages. So after this short video, you should be able to describe the purpose of a query and the purpose of a query language. Okay. So let's start with the notion of queries. Okay. So the dictionary meaning of query is a question. So the idea is to pose a question to an audience, which may be a human or a computer system, and in our course a database which has geographic information. So how do we pose such queries nowadays? The simplest one is to use a pointing device like a mouse. So if you were using a mapping system such as geographic information system or even Google Earth, if you simply mouse over a place in the map, usually the system will pop up the name of that place. Okay. So essentially with the mouse action, one can attach a default query such as give me the place name or some other property. Okay. Another common query many of us have experienced is via search engines. If you are working with Google search or Bing search, we can type in a couple of keywords and the search engine provides us a list of documents or URLs which has information about the keywords. So for example, if you wanted to learn more about spatial computing or SQL, you could type in those keywords and get documents which give you more detail. Okay. Now in databases in this course, our queries will look little more structured, such as what is written on the bottom of the slide. Here you are seeing a select statement from SQL query language. And this is a way to essentially ask for all senators who are female. So assuming we had a table listing all the senators, then you could essentially find the set of senators which are female. Okay. Now once we understand the notion of query, we can talk about query language. So broadly, a query language is a language through which we pose questions. And again, we have experienced this in real world in many different ways. The broadest language through which we pose question is a natural language such as English or French or Spanish. But this is very effective when we are posing questions to other human beings, such as instructor in this course or another student or your friend. Okay. Computer systems have often tried to understand questions posed in natural language. Apple Siri is an example of that, but at present their capabilities are limited. They can usually only answer very simple questions in English, not the general questions. So in general, when we work with computers, we still primarily use computer languages. An example of that may be Java. So if you know how to do programming in Java, you can actually write programs to answer many different questions. Okay. However, for most of us, the Java programming is very verbose and tedious, and it takes a long time to pose such queries. So if you think about the database world, back in 1950s, that's how queries were posed to databases. People would write COBOL programs just to create a simple report. But nowadays, we can do something simpler. So structured query language arose in 1980s, and very soon it became the lingua franca, some people call it universal data speak. And most relational databases understand SQL queries, such as the one we saw in the last slide. In mapping systems or geographic information systems, sometimes SQL is supplemented by the interaction devices. So with mouse clicks or mouse over, simple default queries can also be attached. So in this particular course, we will focus a lot on SQL. In the following video segments, we'll go and look at the details of SQLs by looking at different statements and different kind of questions that can be posed. So with this, we'll wrap up this particular video segment, and the following ones will come and see more details of SQL, including details relevant to posing questions on geographic data. Okay.